Hi guys, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. If you are, my name is Tina, or Tiny if you will, and I make 3D printed eco-friendly lamps. This channel is about my journey of building a hopefully successful business selling these lamps internationally. Honestly guys, I'm overthinking this video making process a little bit. So I'm gonna just chill out a bit, I need to chill out about it. So today's video will be about laying the foundation. Very important topic, brand identity. One example that always comes up, of course, is Apple. People have ideas about Apple. I was in a work meeting a few months ago and we talked about a brand identity, and somebody mentioned that they thought Apple was innovative, which I find interesting. I love Apple. All my products, I have a lot of Apple products, but iPhones have looked the same for the past 10 years or so. I wouldn't call that innovative, but it's the identity the brand has, is what people believe, because that's what they communicate consistently. And that's a fundamental part of any successful business that sells products or services, I think. And then, because that will be a lot of theory and strategy, we will go and do something a little bit more practical. I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to show you my printer. I sort of just got distracted a little bit by the topic of compliance and health and safety regulations, and it's such a nightmare. Like there's several things about like having a business. There's many things that are fun, like designing lamps and printing them. It was super fun. Talk to you guys, very fun. Thinking about visual identities, which we will do in a minute. All that, I like that, very fun. What I don't like is tax returns and compliance documentation and stuff like that. We all want to be healthy and safe, Who doesn't? Let me just tidy while I'm talking to you. Yes, so the issue I'm facing right now, and that's why I'm a little bit stressed. I mean, I'm not facing it right now. Why am I facing it right now? It's not a topic for now. I'm going to deal with that later. I'm going to make another video about this, and I will address these issues for the EU, the UK, and the US. So, for a brand identity, what are the pillars of a brand identity? I love Pinterest. Everybody has this lamp at the moment. But I also like this Marshall books, vintage stuff. Love it. Love this. This is cool. If I had the money to have like stuff like this in my apartment, I would. Maximalist. All these pictures, there's all different sort of apartments, and they all have the same lamps. How boring is that? Yes, sure, I would also buy that stuff and put it somewhere and I wouldn't feel bad about it. But it's a bit, why does everybody have the same stuff? Yeah, I like this. Yes, I do like this. This is also very cool. Basically, what I'm looking at right now is the kind of apartment style that would fit my lamps and that I want my lamps to fit into. So having like an overview of that will help me make decisions easier. Bauhaus interior design. Ooh, I can see this. I think my lamps are a little bit more contemporary. They're not like full on mid-century. By the way, just so you know, so this is just for my personal use. I'm not going to use this document for anything else. But if you are interested in who made all these images and who the creators are, I've made a link for you to the Pinterest board. So please have a look in the description of this video. Anyway, this is enough for now. Let's go and check out the 3D printer. So, this is my device. It's called Bambu Lab A1. This is the bigger version out of two. So there's another one called Bambu Lab A1 Mini. This one can print in anything up to 25 by 25 centimeters, like a big cube, which is quite a lot. So for one lamp, definitely enough. But sometimes I wish it was a little bit bigger. For example, if I'm trying to make parts for several lamps at the same time, that wouldn't work. I'd have to do them all one by one, which means very soon I will have to get another printer or several, depending on how many lamps I sell and how quickly. There's different kinds of 3D printers. Yeah, this one is one that works with filaments. Filaments are like these little spaghettis. This is PLA, which is made from natural materials like cornstarch and sugarcane. A lot of these brands say that it's biodegradable, which technically speaking is true. But the issue is right now that there's hardly any facilities for this. So if you wanted to biodegrade it, you can't just go outside and throw it in the garden. But you have to bring it to some sort of waste management facility, and a lot of the time they don't have what's necessary to biodegrade, biodegradate. PLA. But still, it's a lot better than most other plastic that is just toxic and bad for the environment and made from materials and things that are not sustainable and are using up the earth's resources. So I really like this material. It looks really good. It's available in tons of different colors and in shiny and in matte. I personally really like the matte one because it makes the layer lines almost disappear. So how print works is it just layers, loads of tiny little layers of this stuff on top of each other. And depending on the quality of your print and your printer, they might be more or less visible. Like here, I don't think you can even see those. I don't know. This is a good printer. Why I like it so much? I like it so much because you hardly have to change anything or do anything to the settings. Everything is basically ready to go as long as you use some sort of common material. If you have a material that's not very common and they're not providing you with the files, with the settings, then you might have to do some testing. And I personally am not a big fan of that. But some people love it. Some people love building these themselves as well from parts that you can get on like AliExpress and stuff. I personally really wanted a printer that just works. I'm not super happy with it right now, actually, because it's doing weird things. It's going to be difficult to get it off while it's this hot, so I tend to just like wave it around until it dries or like cools down. With the white filament, this doesn't happen. Because of the texture of the plate, you can't even see the layer lines at all. But this is not looking like that. PLA is meant to be super easy to print, but this is not even... What is going on? I'm not sure why that's happening, because I have printed this in the past and it doesn't have that. It's all perfect. I dried the filament for like 10 hours in a filament dryer. So then there could be different options, of course. There could be the nozzle, that's the issue, because it's not a Bambu Lab brand nozzle. Also, it could be some sort of temperature issue. I'm suspecting it's the nozzle. Guys, this is getting ridiculous. I don't know what's going on, but that is very bad. I don't understand. I mean, I've had this printer now since like October and I've been printing a lot with it. That is the reality of 3D printing. Like once you have the settings right, everything is fine and then you can just print it over and over and over again. But sometimes getting the settings right just takes forever because it's wrong and then you have to do it again. You have to wait half an hour and then look at it and see, oh, it's still wrong. And do it again, wait half an hour. It takes forever to get it perfect in the beginning. Unless you're really lucky and the settings are right out the box anyway, which to be fair with the Bambu A1 printer is the case a lot of the time. And if you're not trying to sell what you're making, it'll be fine anyway. You can hardly tell that there's an issue. But if you want to sell your products and you care about quality, that's where it gets tedious. But once it's done, you know, that's the good thing about it. Maybe I should also check if the model in Blender, if it's alright or if it's got any issues. I wonder what happens if I make the heat bed hotter. So that, yes, didn't change anything. I'm going to attempt a calibration of the flow dynamics and flow rate. while waiting for that to print, I have been busy doing things, making plans, strategizing. I'm not going to go into crazy detail and read everything out to you because some of you might find that just a bit boring. But I'm going to give you a really quick overview anyway of what I did. My random graphics design skills that I developed while doing this. So this at present is the logo. I'm not 100% happy with it because it is a ready-made Canva logo basically. I've just adjusted it a tiny bit. Making this, I started with the company description and things like that. But design-wise, it was all wrong until I actually figured out what kind of design I wanted, and then I had to go back and change everything. Business description, product description, this is just some information on who I am, what I do. Berlin-based solo founder, selling 3D printed eco-friendly lamps on Shopify, social media, potentially on Etsy, but I'm not sure. I will discuss Etsy at some point in a later video. Potentially local markets, also I'm not sure, but I might want to try it out. I will try it out, you know. It's important to have some values this business stands for from the beginning, I think. And these are basically my values. But I think writing them down will, whatever happens in the future, will always make sure that this is staying like this, you know? Things are just like moving into a direction that I don't want and just, yeah. This was a bit of a challenge because obviously I come from van life and now I'm doing this. And I was like, why am I doing both? Or how does this tie together? Like, what is the essence of it all? Why are we all here? Why am I here? Why are you here? Why are the potential people going to be here that potentially buy the lamps? And how does it make sense? So this will help me a lot, you know, because it will help me figure out what to post also on other channels like Pinterest and so forth. I don't even know. I'm not like a John Lennon fan at all. I know nothing about the man. I feel like he fits the vibe, you know, he fits the vibe. Graphic design inspiration. So I was like, oh, I like this, you know, some Bauhaus, some Matisse, some random stuff, okay. I'm feeling so inspired. That also didn't work. I might have made a mistake. I just realized that I didn't deselect the automatic calibration that happens every time you print something unless you deselect it, which probably overrode everything I did before. So I will try that out again later without that automatic calibration. But still, I think it's not working. And I do think it's probably because of the third-party nozzle. That's my guess. The only way to find out is to try it again with an original nozzle, and I ordered 2. And that brings me to the lessons I learned, because even though, unfortunately, the problem wasn't solved by the end of this video, which I really hoped it would be, I at least learned some things that are very important, and I think I'm very glad I learned them now rather than later, once the website is live. Lesson number 1, always have spare nozzles, because sometimes they get blocked or they just stop working properly for whatever reason, and then you need to quickly have a new one. You can't always save them. Second lesson, have original parts. I wasted now 4 days or something trying to get this to work. If I just ordered the proper nozzle straight away when the old one got blocked, I would not have this problem right now. Probably anyway, that's the guess. Because before, everything came out good. Sometimes there was like very, very slight inconsistencies in the print quality, but they were so rare that it was just fine. For production, it would have been fine. But now, since I have this nozzle, there's always slightly uneven lines, and it's just not good enough for my lamps. Also, something else I learned, it's not just about having spare nozzles. I think it's important to have always at least 2 printers, or like a spare printer, because they are obviously machines, and machines can break, or they can have problems. And this printer will break and it will have problems at some point if I use it a lot. So when that happens, I need to have a second printer to continue producing lamps and not just pause my whole production for days. Even though at the very, very beginning, I might not necessarily need a second one, but as a safety option, it's, I think, essential. So I will buy another printer, and soon, maybe not next week, but maybe the week after or something like that, I will post an unboxing video and show you how to set it up as well. In the next video, I will cover the topic of safety, health and safety labels, compliance, export requirements like that for different markets, which is a big thing, a big topic that has been on the back of my mind for quite some time and stressing me out. And if I want to launch this website before the end of the month, I need to address it as soon as possible, which will be next week. We'll be fine, guys, you know? We can do this. I see you soon. Bye-bye.